And if you look at the work of Antoinette, who started off looking at movement in the rhythm of Africa, and was inspired by ballet with the light on the dresses and the ethereal quality and the translucency and the lightness of those experiences. If you take that and you channel it into the final product, in the way that the work body almost transmutes the color from the inside onto the surfaces if light is projected onto the translucent body, then you see an integratedness in the product where the ceramic statement is in one with the actual final product.
I'm using the physics of my arm to prevent my muscles from getting hurt. Okay? We don't always realize that, but we're abusing our bodies from side to side. And I've done that all the years here in South Africa until we got to the States, and I almost got to a point where I couldn't throw on the wheel. But porcelain, remember, is open. Moisture escapes from it very quickly, and it will always start out right there on the skin. It will first start doing that. Now, those of you that do work with porcelain that do not follow this procedure will recognize what I'm going to describe to you right now. You will start working with it, and for some reason, the clay just don't become smooth under your hands. It's because it formed that little skin around there, and that little skin that got formed around your clay is basically preventing you from getting those clay particles to get nice and lined up. So for the left-handed person, I'm going to switch my wheel over to the other side. And instead of working with the clay particles going this way, remember the wheel's going to go in the opposite direction now. So I'm going to turn the clay over this way. And by the way, people, I have to think about this one. It's not my normal way of throwing. Okay, I'm going to give this pot a belly now. So my outer hand is going to meet up with the inner hand, or the dominant hand is going to meet up with the non-dominant hand, and it's going to support the clay just below. In other words, if I can stop for a second right there and show you, my fingers is going to be in this position. There. Take a bisque bowl and make it fit perfectly right again. Note how I hold it on the inside. I'm making sure that my hand is going everywhere where the pot is going. Oh, and here's my happy tool again, my little surfform blade. Who would have thought that I'm going to use that in wheel throwing? Because your clay is still, it's already drier, but it's soft enough to reinfuse water, although there's a certain point where it's going to be too dry. So I'm going to carve into it, and then I'm going to re-wet it again because I want it to be easy working when I do the piercing. Now I'm just following those lines. If I took this part to where it came out more like a squarish, it took the corner a little wide, that part would have collapsed right there on the kiln shelf. Or maybe not collapsed all the way down, but it would have become a nasty piece. And I think this one is on the very, very brink of it. You can, if you feel on the inside, you'll feel that it's started making that little bulge on the inside, and it's not because of bad throwing. Push it, throw it around. .99% of the time, I end up with a little crack right there in the bottom, because I throw these fast, and it's a typical thing where we were talking about the compacting of the clay to prevent it from having too much of a memory. I throw these normally very fast, so I always end up with that little crack. It's a little S crack that sits in the bottom there. But it's basically just a cylinder open to the bottom, and I cut this one because it was too tall, and it might still be too tall. And I would put this piece right on there. You need to be very aware of what's going to fall where.